Sure, we got the notes going. It looks like everything's going, guys. So welcome to Move, Think, Smile and our occasional Make Your Marketing Work sessions, a live Q&A with myself and Elia Fosteron. We're the founders of Move, Think, Smile. And what we're going to do today is we have a lot of questions, people looking for support, and we've got a spreadsheet filled with people. So we're going to go in, we're going to dive right in. And we're going to skip all the fluff and all the presentation. And if you could real quick, while people are coming into the room, if you would open up your chat box, type in where you're from and the core focus of your health and wellness business so we can all be on the same page and we can get to you the quickest. Also, make sure that your name, your Zoom name, actually shows your name, your full name, so we can see who you are, who's coming in here, so we can make sure that we're taking attendance and that we can get everybody the replay and things like that as well. So, with that in mind, I'm going to open up my spreadsheet here and make sure we're there. And Elia, let's go ahead. I'm going to stop sharing. Let's dive into this thing right now. And I'm Adam Von-Ens, and together with Elia Fosteron, you'll see both of us here in the things. There's MTS after our names. That stands for Move, Think, Smile. We are the founders of Move, Think, Smile. And for the past, 24 years, we've been in the health and wellness space. And since 2011, Move, Think, Smile, helping integrative, functional, holistic, longevity, regenerative companies with their marketing and sales. So if you have more questions about who we are and our background, we'll be happy to dive into that. I've worked with big companies like Disney and Volvo and Seagrams and Mack Trucks and all that kind of stuff. And we've been in retail, manufacturing, and services. So we understand the whole gamut of business as far as capitalism goes here in North America. Elia, so let's go ahead. Let's just dive right in because we want to break this up into kind of like when we're looking at, marketing strategy, marketing sales questions, we've got pretty much 4 areas. We have the structure of the offer, which includes the niche, the pricing, the program, the deliverables, the fulfillment, all that kind of fun stuff. You've got the messaging, and that is how you're positioning the offer, what people on the outside actually see and hear and how they resonate with it. Of course, you have the marketing, which are the strategies of getting the right message in front of the right eyeballs. So people are actually acting on your stuff. Then you have the sales process. And that is when somebody raises their hand or clicks on your stuff saying that they're interested in learning more or what's going on, that they then actually become a paying customer. And if you're new to Move, Think, Smile, you will hear us say this time and time again, and that is any marketing strategy can work. There is not a right or wrong way to do this, but the health and wellness space, we see a lot of people out there with really great talents, a lot of good expertise, trying to follow strategies that work in other industries, but not necessarily for their practice, for their business, for whatever they're doing. So if you're into gateway offers and having low ticket stuff, that can work. There are pros and cons of that. If you're into high impact offers, those can be very, very powerful. There are pros and cons of those too. And we specialize in all of them and just trying to take a functional approach with your business to make sure what is going to be the right one. So if you submitted a question and you're here, put a 1 in the box right now. So we know that you actually submitted a question, and we can we're going to call on you guys first, and you're the people here. So that's who we're going to really work with.
So I'm going to go ahead and kick it off with Manesha, I believe, if I said that correctly. I see that she's here and she submitted a question, and it's a great question. So I'd like to start us off with that, if that sounds good, Adam.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, so her question is, and Manesha, you can chime in here and add in if needed, but you said, how do I best promote my Facebook group to my demographic and get them to join? As the group is where I make the magic happen, quote unquote. I created a page specifically to be able to do this. I was growing my profile prior, but realized I couldn't promote the group without a page, but I'm still growing that page basically from zero. I'm open to Facebook ads too. Okay.
All right, cool. So great. So if we're using a group funnel, which for some people, they work really, really well. So just out of curiosity, Misha, how is the group funnel working for you? So people are coming in, do you engage with them? And then what's your sales process look like? Do they come in and do they have a call with you, or do you have them click on a buy now button? How does that work?
Hi guys, thanks for answering my question first. My name is Manisha. And I guess I'm very new to all of it, but when I say make the magic happen, when they get into that group, I'm a cardiac nurse coach, specifically for young people with arrhythmias, right? So very much those people are like looking for that solution. They're very much driven to find a solution, and I have some for them. So once they get in there, I give a ton of natural options for them alongside their medical regimen. And I go live weekly and I offer a lot of stuff. And then I guess I tell them here and there that I also offer private health coaching, but I I just need more people in that group first, I guess, more engagement.
Okay. Well, the reason I'm asking is like, how many people in that group are actually converting to a paying client / patient?
I'm still too new to even say anything.
Okay.
I have one client.
Okay, you've got one client. How many people are in the group now?
91.
You've got 91. Okay, so we want to build this up. So the reason I'm asking is because when we have a warm network, if you're looking for cash flow, the first strategy I would take would be to drop a direct offer into the group, because it sounds like you've been doing value and people have been getting all kinds of great information from you, and you've got good prospect equity. And so if you're looking for cash flow and getting more clients, I would, before I would do anything else to get anybody else in the group, I would drop a direct offer and go ahead and get people interested in really working with you. Going back to the original question, how do I populate this group with more people? Well, let's make it as simple as we can. We got two ways to do this. You have the organic way, right? Which, if anybody's ever done organic gardening, it's not easy, right? It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of sweat equity, and there's all kinds of ways to do it. The simplest way we've seen from an organic is to write a very high integrity ethical post, and you literally use the networks you've already built up, starting with your Facebook profile. Now, we're not trying to mix church and state. We don't want to use your Facebook profile to sell 1999 Ray-Bans or, really be pushy and stuff like that. But there is a really cool way of inviting people over into your group as a support group, and where that post will then spread naturally. And we've seen it happen a lot. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to get out there and do PR, right? You get into other people's groups. Obviously, you've got to follow the rules. You don't want people coming and poaching clients from your group. Follow the rules, be kind, all that kind of stuff. But get into groups where you are allowed to talk about and are allowed to promote yourself, but do it in a very, very kind of like nonchalant way. Show your expertise, show your authority. The problem with this method is that, the good thing about it is it doesn't take any money. The problem is it does take time, and it's something you're going to have to put in daily to make it go. Most people don't have that type of time. The best way that we've seen is going to run a paid ad. Now, the thing about Facebook that we have to understand is that Facebook will not allow us run an ad to a page inside of Facebook, including our group. So if we're going to do a group funnel, you're going to have an ad. It's going to go to a landing page with an opt-in, which is then we want to make it high friction. Manisha, are you familiar with that term?
No.
Okay. So high friction means if you guys came into our group through our ad, you saw our ad, you landed on a page, you put in what your occupation is, you put in what your credentials are, you put in your first name, last name, phone number, email, because we only want serious people coming in, right? This is not a numbers game for this. This is a quality game for us. And then there was a video that then said, hey, now that you're here, you got to go over to our Facebook group, you got to click again, and then you got to click again to join. And then, we present some membership questions. Sometimes people fill them out, sometimes they don't. Doesn't really matter. But the ad, if you do it right, we're seeing group joins for anywhere from as little as 50 cents, depending on the niche and the targeting, all the way up to $10, which $10 for a lead is actually really good these days. Mm-hmm. As long as we have a process and a system on the inside of the group to convert them into paying clients. So Manisha, first of all, is what's coming out of my mouth, does it make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. What questions do you have, and what has been your process so far of getting people into the group?
I did hire, by the way, a coach to show me how to do all this. And I completed her program at the beginning of the year. Okay. So I'm following her strategy, and it is mostly organic, but then I realized that it was too slow for me. So I started paying for the Facebook ads and stuff. Okay. And I have seen some of them will join from the ads and stuff, but mostly I get into those other groups, like you said, do the PR and stuff and follow their rules. And that's how I invite people back to my group. And I've been doing it, but it's very, very slow that way because it's one-on-one conversations and the direct messages. And so
I've been doing that since January?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I started the group in March though.
You started the group in March. And
Mm-hmm.
so basically you've been doing it for 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how many hours have you put in to the 91 people you've got in there so far?
A lot. Yeah. A lot.
Okay. So the paid ad strategy. So like I said, organic can work, but it is a long, slow, tedious process, and you really need to be doing it daily for a couple hours. And most people don't have that type of time. So your ad, Are you running a paid ad now?
Mm-hmm.
And how's that working?
I just started it, so I don't know, but I had run several before this, and I thought they worked pretty decently for the money that you spend. You know, it's like $20 for 4 days worth of advertising, reach like 2 or 3,000 people,
Okay.
and just hope that they chose the right people.
Okay. With it, be careful with the hope thing, because you have a new, are you running traffic? Are you running leads? Are you running conversions as your campaign objective?
Not yet.
So when you set up an ad, it asks you, what do you want to optimize this for?
Traffic.
Traffic. Okay. Couple things to caution on, and I'm sorry, the white balance on my camera's all off today. I'm looking really, really washed out on the side. Number one, avoid traffic ads at all costs, unless you literally just want Facebook showing your ad to click happy people. Because there are people that will click on the stuff all day long, but they're not going to convert over to actually joining the group. Number two, you want to be really, really careful with campaigns less than 15 days. The algorithms, especially if you're using Audience Plus, where it just says, hey, just go find my people. If they don't get 50 conversions in a 3 to 4 day period, the algorithm basically goes into limbo and has a really hard time figuring out what it is you need to do. And you might get a couple group joins, but they're going to be way more expensive than you should be getting them. So in the beginning, you want to be able to feed the pixel information. And so this is where we're going to want to turn off the advanced placement, not advanced placement, advanced placement's fine, but basically Audience Plus, where it says like, hey, just go out there and find anybody that's most likely to respond to my ad. In our experience, doing that when you're brand new, typically you underperform. And so I would suggest, if you really want your group to grow, a couple rules of thumb when it comes to both Google and Meta advertising. On a cold campaign, meaning we have an ad that's going out to people that have never heard of us before. Like we're trying to feed the algorithm a certain type of audience that maybe they have interests like this, or they look like this, or we have a custom audience. We want to make sure that we're, in our experience, now there are exceptions, $30 a day is going to be the minimum budget that you want to put in there for at least 15 days in order to give the algorithm a baseline on what to do with your advertising. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much if you're going to, unless you have a retarget campaign, and there are exceptions to this where you put in like $5 a day, or if you have a value campaign, which literally you can do a short video, 3 to 5 minutes long, literally put in $5 a day into it. But there's no call to action in it. You're just giving value in the video, and you're keeping people on platform, because this is what Facebook loves. Facebook doesn't like people clicking, believe it or not, they don't like people clicking on your ad. They like it when people see your ad, engage, but don't leave Facebook. Mm-hmm. And so you can create a $5 value campaign, teaching them something, or giving something that or shifting their mindset basically in the health and wellness space, and then create a custom audience based off of 25% of people are people who've watched 25% of that video. And then you retarget them with your offer, which could be coming into the group or coming into whatever it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are ways to do that. There are ways to really bust that up there. And just to let you guys know, I mean, we do help people like Manisha. So if you guys do need help with this, please, Ellie is here. We have one of our main guys, Lonnie Hogan, is here. And if you guys need any help beyond what we're giving today, feel free to reach out to one of them, and we can kind of share with you how we do things with people. And so, Manisha, what kind of budget could you put into this?
Well, that's kind of steep for now, but I guess I'm open to it when I have the perfect ad ready to go,
Okay. And what is your ad? Do you have your ad? Can you share it with us today?
Yes. Okay. So I just created, I don't know how to share it with you, I guess. Do I type it into the chat, or do I just show you?
Just share your screen. Or do you have it on your computer?
Yes.
Because they pulled up on your computer. We could take a look at it there. And so while she's doing that, I'm going to give you guys an example of what a good group funnel looks like. I'm going to type in. All right. So we have ads out there. We do all paid advertising for our group funnel, which works really, really great. When people click on the ad, they land on this page here. It kind of resembles a workshop or a webinar or a masterclass page, but it's really about having a really powerful headline, telling people who you are, having a subhead, which we call a cognitive dissonance curiosity hook, and then of course get my invite. And for people who are ready to get in, they get in. If they need more information, then we have what we call our big bad bullets that really detail exactly what we call me cubed, me 3. In all of our marketing, we want to make sure that people understand what's in it for me. That's all they care about. The next thing they want to know is, why should I listen to you? And the third thing want to know is, why now? And so we want to make sure we hit all of those things. And then of course we have a little bio right here, and then another call to action. So once they hit that, then we have them go into a congrats page. So we're still not taking them directly into the Facebook funnel or to the page itself. And we do this on purpose because it's called high friction. So we want people to have to jump through some hoops before they can get to our group. So they have to watch this, then they've got to click on a button here, and then they can come and they can join our group. It looks like Facebook is loading slow right now. Yep. And then they hit the join button, which I'm already an admin, so that's not going to show. All right, Manisha, you got that ad?
Yes.
All right, share it. Take a look at it.
So sharing my screen now, hopefully you can see that. And then here is the ad center.
Okay.
And then I guess,
Yeah, so basically go to your advertising manager. So it should be over there on the left. It doesn't look like it's loading right now.
I think my computer's really slow right now. I'm not sure why. Let me refresh this.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, while you're doing that, let's see if it pops up here. You're going to want to go to your ads manager and pull up the ad. There you go. Ad center. I guess click on all ads. You have a very different view than I have. All right. It's doing its thing. All right. Well, while that's doing its thing, so what you want to do is you want to get into the campaign. Just like when you're building the ad, go into the campaign, go into the ad set, and then go to the ad itself like you're going to edit it. And then you can do a view. And that's what we want to take a look at. If that makes sense. Ads manager, click on that. Show more details in ads manager. Yep. That's where we want to be. All right, Ellie, while we're waiting for this to pop up, what would be our next question we want to dive into?
I think the next one, or a good bridge, would be a beginner looking for a plan. So
that's a wide open question.
Yeah. Yeah. Melee says, I'm a nurse as well, but haven't gotten any certification. So
okay.
What type of plan would you say? I mean, I'm assuming marketing, but do you have anything in place yet?
I'm beginning to look for.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
hey, Manisha,
fantastic.
Manisha, while that's loading, would you hit unshare?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Malay. So tell us a little about. Okay, so you're a nurse. Are you a nurse practitioner or an RN?
RN.
RN. All right. Welcome to Move Think Smile. My mom's an RN. Ellie's mom's an RN. We grew up with those people. We consider them the original wellness experts.
Oh, yay. Fantastic.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's where I'm at. I want to get into wellness and have something of my own. I've been a GI nurse for about 7 years, but been in healthcare for about 20 years. Took 2.5 years to rehabilitate mom from a major stroke.
Right.
So I am landing here because I've done this twice for my mom where she had breast cancer, and I took 3 years to rehabilitate her and go through all the, diagnoses, the surgeries, the follow-ups.
Yep.
So I figured I need to have something just in case something else happens.
Yeah, no, for sure. Understood. All right. So as far as certifications go, obviously, let's answer this question first, because a lot of people think you need to have some type of certification because they've pounded that into you in the regulated healthcare system. And I want to get it clarify the difference between legal and ethical. Right? we need to understand that if we're going to be giving people advice and working with their health and wellness, there are laws that we need to follow. If we understand those laws and we're practicing medicine or we're diagnosing diseases or we're prescribing medications, you're going to be regulated, you're going to be certified, you're going to have all those credentials. Absolutely. But if you have the expertise and the knowledge to help somebody significantly improve a physical, mental, and or emotional health and wellness problem, a certification is not legally required if you're doing things that don't require a legal certification. Does that make sense?
Yes, because what I'm hearing when I've been researching is you really don't need the certification. You need the education and, you need
a process.
Yeah.
So what you need is you need to be able to take your experience and your knowledge and to put it into, I don't like this word program because we're dealing with real human beings, but you need to put it together a program, a fulfillment structure. So when somebody raises their hand and say, hey, Malay, I would really like your help here, then we know how to go from point A to point B and get them the strongest results possible in the shortest period of time. And we want to design that thing in the health and wellness space. Obviously, different diseases have different problems, right? But we want to design this thing so in the first 7 to 10 days, your patient/client is getting a big minimum, an emotional win, right? Some type of victory, some type of something that they could say, I'm so glad I did this. I'm so glad that I hired Manisha. I'm so glad that I hired Malay. I'm so glad that I took this leap. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So when we're designing the program design and delivery, so when we talk about offer structure, remember we've got the offer itself, and that is I'm going to help people with heart disease. I'm going to help people with rheumatoid arthritis. I'm going to help people with strokes. I'm going to help people with dementia. All you have to do is pick a disease or dysfunction, and you can lead with that. But then you want to make sure that when you're leading with it, that we throw in a thing called like a unique mechanism to make you sound different. Because there's a lot of options out there and people get overwhelmed really quickly. So we want to make sure that we position you in a category one. It's like, oh, this is Malay, and she's the only one who kind of uses her process to do this stuff. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the hard part.
Yeah. Well, that's what we do in the background. Like when we work with our clients, the first thing we do is we literally dive into structure of their offer. We look at their offer and we make sure it's like, okay, one, what can we repackage that they already know how to do or are already doing and are already charging for, but aren't making the money that they want to make? How can we increase the revenue with something that already exists with this person or within the company already? And how can we also condense that time frame so we have a front end offer and we have a back end offer? Meaning when somebody comes in to work with you, they pay a flat fee. You can have payments if you want to, but basically it's a flat fee for a certain period of time. And then how do we structure that first time frame to be just in the sweet spot of not overwhelming, but they can get results, and not too long to where the law of procrastination comes in. And typically that sweet spot is between 8 to 16 weeks. Sound good so far?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So then we look at that, then we say, okay, what kind of price are we going to put on top of it? And then once we have the fulfillment down, the offer down, and the price down, then we move into, okay, how are we going to message this thing? How are we going to position it? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Once we have that down, then we go into, okay, let's pretend structure is the proverbial shop that we're setting up. Messaging is the sign that we're going to hang outside the store. Marketing is where are we going to put the sign? And that's where we figure out, okay, what marketing strategies is going to work for you? Are we going to take an organic approach? If we take an organic approach, what kind of organic approach are we going to take? There are organic approaches that are basically pounding the pavement, heavy human talent and human resources required. And there are some organic strategies that don't require as much. But as Manisha was saying, they can be slow to get going. They can be really slow to get going. Then you have paid strategies. And while $30 a day is kind of where we see the optimal, where the algorithms in Google and Meta will optimize and you'll get the best return on your investment, you can start lower than that. You can go as low to, I think it's like $2 or $5 a day if you want to, but don't expect miracles on that budget. It's going to take a long time for people to see your stuff and start acting. So does that help, Malay?
It does. I just feel like I'm not even there yet to even know what my message is, and then marketing.
Yeah, exactly. So we would start with, so where we would start with the structure of your offer. So if I were to bring somebody out to your doorstep right now and they were going to knock on the door and they were going to say, hey, Malay, can you help me with blank? And you knew right away that that is your wheelhouse and you could help that person overcome a disease or dysfunction, what would that disease or dysfunction be?
That's a good question for Chris as well. I was chatting with Chris. That's a good question for you.
Yeah.
What would it be?
It'd probably be anywhere from blood sugar to cholesterol. That's kind of like my preventive medicine I do for myself as well as my family members.
Okay.
And, I've been around doctors and healthcare providers as well.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So what we do is we have a diabetes offer in the making, right? So if we're talking about blood sugar, we're talking about lowering A1C score.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, and I mean this in a full-hearted, loving way, not in a gross way, but diabetes is hot. Diabetes offers are hot, meaning we have people coming straight out of health coaching school. They've got their certification. They've got track record with people they've worked with that are collecting $5,000 a pop.
Oh, wow.
For an 8-week lowering people's blood sugar program. And what I would do is I would really suggest if that's your wheelhouse and you can help people do that, start there. Because one, it's hot. People are going to click on your stuff. They're going to come in. They just are. It's estimated that 50% of Americans or North America is diabetic or pre-diabetic. That's 1 out of 2 people, which is 1 away from everyone. So the market is huge and it's untapped because most of them, like my stepfather, think that DM programs, diabetes management programs, are the way to deal with diabetes so you can manage and mitigate the symptoms, which is what my stepfather Richard did. And he managed it right to leukemia and it killed him 3 days before Christmas, which is one reason we think Smile exists, because we want to get out there and help you guys tip the scales from sickness to wellness. Another reason that diabetes offers are hot is you can make a crazy amount of progress in an extremely short period of time. We've seen practitioners get their clients and patients off of insulin in as little as 9 days. Big and fast. When you can do big and fast in an offer, especially in the health and wellness space, people want to come to you. So think about diabetes and blood sugar. And what will end up happening is that's not going to be what you do for the rest of your life. That's just going to be the focus of your marketing campaign, because you're going to end up getting people with all kinds of other problems too. Probably neurological problems and things like that. You just got to decide, who do you want to work with?
Yeah.
So Malay, so the question is, if a diabetic, let's say they've got an A1C score of 9.1, which is pretty high. That's when the bad stuff starts happening. Yeah. They got blurred vision, they got poor circulation, the hospital's uttering words like amputation, and they're like, hey, could you help me lower my A1C? Would you be able to help them?
Yes, definitely.
Cool. There's your offer.
Mm-hmm.
Step number 1 done.
Oh my gosh. But just going through all this and helping people right now, pro bono, friends and family, it just seems like there's just so much more to it than just that. Because coming from a clinical background, that's all we do. We just laser focus on those things. We don't think about their behaviors, their mindset, and all those other things that life brings into, that encompasses all these issues of stress.
Yes.
So it's like, when I think about all those things, I get so discombobulated. Like, how am I going to approach this and help them with the program? Because in a way it should be tailored to each person, but in a program doesn't really tailor to each person.
Well, it can, right? So I'm going to let LA speak to this too, as far as behavior change, because this is what's really important. Because if you can throw in behavior change, because we can tell people all day long to eat the right food. It's like, how do you fix diabetes? Stop putting poison in your face.
And that's where my heart,
it's really that simple.
Yeah. My heart sits in behavioral change, because when working with people, it's like, oh my goodness, really, you really think like that? That's how you're problem solving? Yeah. But I don't say it to them. It's just my brain, it's in my brain. It's not spoken out loud. I try to kind of shelter them from my shock.
Yeah. And I'm going to put I'm remembering this right now. I'm putting a link in the chat box only because there's a video at the top of the page that is really describing the marketing strategy that we use. It's about 30 minutes long. I didn't want to have to take your time up and present it here, but guys, go over there and take a look at it. And obviously, because it says apply, if you're interested in chatting with us, you can click on that too. But I'm actually putting it in there for you guys to look at the strategic video. All right, so Malay, let's talk about this for a second. All right, first of all, when you're doing pro bono work, the people do not have skin in the game, and they're just doing it because you're doing it for free.
Correct.
Okay, this is where things change dramatically when you actually have a price that is going to be in the $3,000 to $5,000 to $7,000 to $10,000 range. We have our clients are working in the diabetes space anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000, and all of them are getting the price. It's just where they feel comfortable and where their heart is and what they're asking for. But on the backside of things, we know that from a pricing standpoint, and then we'll get into the program standpoint, and then Ellie can speak to behavior change and that kind of things, or actually could speak to program design and delivery. From a pricing standpoint, and this comes from the CDC in Atlanta, and if you watched any of our stuff, you may have heard me utter this number, but it's an incredible number. People with a disease, and they actually highlight diabetes as one of the biggest ones, are spending out of their pocket $16,750 every year just to manage and mitigate the disease, even if they have insurance.
Oh, wow.
If you have a 5K offer, not only are you going to give them their life back because they're not going to get their toes amputated, they're going to be able to see again, they're going to get their energy back, they're probably going to live longer and have more impact on their family and their career than they ever thought possible, but you're going to save them, I don't know, like $12,000 in the first year.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, great marketing spiel.
And it's not a spiel, it's a fact.
Fact.
This is the difference between, you have to understand that if you're going to have a business, every business has to go to market to let people know that they have an offer, right? And marketing has sales, and a business needs revenue. So if you're going to have a business, you need to feed it food, and that's called revenue/sales. And in order to get revenue, you have to sell something. And in order to sell something, people have got to know about it, and that's called marketing. So whether we like it or not, we are going to have to do marketing and sales.
Yeah.
But the
definitely.
cool part is when we transfer it from being salesy to actually saving somebody a ton of money and helping them overcome a drastic disease or dysfunction, cool stuff happens. First of all, they feel great. They sing your praises. They will call you up and literally say, thank you so much for helping me lower my A1C. But you know what, Malay? You saved my marriage. You saved my job. You saved my life. These are the kind of calls that we get all the time. It's super cool.
And that's what drives me.
Yeah.
So it's just like, there's just so much in my head where I'm just like, okay, how am I going to deliver it? Who am I to deliver this? And how am I going to deliver this so I don't step on the toes of the other initials?
Yep.
Yeah.
Elia?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's plenty of ways that you can deliver. And I want to just kind of loop back to what you said. It's like, okay, but can I put this type of issue into a group setting? And what I always like to remind people is there are a couple things that are really important. No matter what disease or dysfunction you're helping people overcome, there are always like key critical things that you're going to have everyone do. Across the board, everyone is going to do it. And these are the things that I always like to say the practitioners become a broken record about. It's like you're saying it to everyone, and you're saying it over and over and over again. And these are the types of things that end up being really great content for self-paced work. And what I love to see, and what I find that most practitioners find to be very powerful if they are going for more of like a program, model where they want to bring people through a transformational process, is that there is the combination of group and one-on-one. Now, the goal is not to have a zillion one-on-ones, because a lot of times, again, people start getting capped out for their time, but to really decide when are those key critical moments on your client's journey that a one-on-one would be warranted or would be important. And so a lot of times you can start with a basic framework or a basic structure where you have a little one-on-one time to kick them off. Then you have a little check-in at the middle of their time with you, and then a check-in at the end for one-on-ones. And then the rest of the time, they are combined either in a group experience or maybe even just communicating with you back and forth on, whatever platform you might have for them. And so there are a lot of different ways that you can slice it. You can also send people through a linear path, or you can also send people through a non-linear path, depending on what they're dealing with when they first come in to see you. So let's say, just for example, you had a module on sleep, you had a module on weight loss, you had a module on food. And let's say you have someone coming in where you realize that, man, like their biggest issue right now is cravings and food consumption. So they're not really having a ton of issues with sleep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send them into the nutrition module, and I want them to conquer that first. And then I'm going to have them move over here to this section. And you can still have lots of people all moving towards the same goal, which is lowering their A1C or something like that, for example, but having a couple of different strategies along the way. And you can have those bio-individual strategies already marked out and kind of pre-templated so that you can send people to what they need, depending on the health audit or health assessment you've done right out of the gate. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. And so, again, I think here it really comes down to for everyone, I see a lot of questions were submitted around like a plan, a marketing plan, having a hard time finding people who want to pay for help, that sort of thing. And again, it's a combination of really having a strong offer, making sure that your messaging is really dialed in. And then you just need enough eyeballs seeing that message, and then some sales skills to bring people in. And what happens is a lot of times, most of the people that we work with underestimate the amount of eyeballs that need to see your stuff in order to then become a client. Because as we always ask, ask yourself if the focus that you want to focus on, are there more than 1 million people in the US that have this problem?
Yeah.
And if so, there are plenty of people that can be your client. It's just getting your content in front of them so that they can consume it and then reach out and have a conversation.
Yeah. I mean, that would be wonderful if I had those talents already to say, oh, I'm very articulate in how to deliver my message to you, and particularly you or a group of yous that need this help, and be able to like work in a group and have that talent to say, oh, okay, so this group, I can speak like this, or I can speak to half of the group because I understand that maybe half of them needs help with, let's say, mindset more so than just jumping into doing the, the action, and then having to change their mindset first and getting them to evolve into saying, I can do this. This is not hard. This is my life that's, at stake, and I got to take it seriously, rather than the group of people that are just like, I've tried everything, and, I just need a good action plan or accountability or the know-how or the support when I fail or I drop, and, just being able to have that, I guess, that acumen of being a coach as well as being a business owner, and knowing how to market and where to market, as well as showing up to do the marketing, like filming and knowing the right words to say and how to say it and how to articulate it.
Okay. All right. Take a deep breath.
Yep.
Exhale slowly. It's going to be cool. So
ADHD in me.
Okay. So as far as, let's go back to the top of the business dilemma, how to deliver results. We want to make sure we have that set up. Now, here's what we don't need to do. We do not need to sit there and spend months and years creating some program. All we need to do is have the basics down. And if you follow what we do, you'll be amazed. And it's called Move, Think, Smile. So when you set up something, first what they need, and it still blows my mind today, that when you teach people about proper nutrition and what they should not be eating and what's actually causing diabetes, they're like, I had no idea. And they don't. We live in a very small pink bubble of whole foods and holistic health. It's very tiny. It's expanding, but it's still very tiny. And so you can put all of that, you bring in your first cohort of people, you have your outline, and you teach them this stuff. You record your sessions, you then put it into some type of like LMS or a course system, a learning management system, to where when new people come in down the road, you don't have to sit there and give it again. It's something they can watch on their own time because you do not need to repeat the wheel with every client you work with. What you want to focus on is the middle part. So they make bold moves. That's the move part, right? Shift their mindset, then get them to think differently. And this is all about behavior change. Your power, and I can tell you from having our own health and wellness programs and specializing in fatigue and energy, 99% of what you're going to do is what Joe Dispenza calls the hardest thing about change. And that is not doing what they did yesterday. You're going to be there to help them get over I'm staring at a hamburger and I can't put it down. You're going to help them get over how do I stop putting what I thought was a healthy power bar in my mouth, but it's not, right? It's the behavior change. It's the mindset. And what we do, what Ellie was talking about, is a hybrid system. When you're working with people, you have some one-on-ones with them. Let's say most of our clients, what we do is we help them set up an 8-week thing. Day one, there's a kickoff. It's about 30 to 60 minutes long. And then you do we usually suggest doing 2 live sessions a week for about 60 to 90 minutes. That's all going to be behavior change and mindset and asking questions. What do I eat instead of this, Malay? I don't know what to do. It's like, how do I drop my blood sugar? You have milestones along the way where people are required to report in so we can celebrate their victories. And obviously, if you're going to do an A1C thing, you probably want to give it at least 90 days because that's usually how long it takes for the hemoglobin to change and actually be recorded in a blood test. So you have a 90-day thing. And then you have a check-in halfway through, let's say 4 to 6 weeks for 30 minutes, a progress check-in, see how they're doing, any personal support they need. And then on the last day, you have basically an improvement. It's like, okay, this is where we started. We were here. This is the progress we've made where we were here. You take a leadership position. You show them what's coming down the line, the potential pitfalls and obstacles they're going to run into, and then you bring them into a back-end offer. So now we take that person worth $5,000 to being worth like 10, 15, 20, even 30 grand over the next 12 months because they're making progress for the first time in their life and they actually feel good. I know that was a mouthful. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense.
Okay.
And
So
because I hear this too in regards to not being a registered dietitian or not being a nutritionist myself. Am I going to have to go get those certificates to be able to speak in that lane?
No. Here's the legalities around it. And I'm going to use Florida as an example. In Florida, unless you are a registered dietitian, you cannot hand out a meal plan. It's illegal. The registered dietitians get very angry because they feel like you're stepping on their turf. We know because we know some health coaches that got in trouble with the government. But instead of handing out a meal plan, have your clients create their own meal plan and educate them on how to create their own meal plan. And that's completely legal. And now you don't need to be a registered dietitian. That's not to say, would going out there and getting a certification in functional nutrition benefit you? Well, yeah, of course it would. It's going to make you a stronger person. Does that mean you have to go get it right now before you start making money in your business? Absolutely not. As long as we're following the rules. Does that help?
It does tremendously because I'm always apprehensive because, you come from that healthcare, society, like work environment. So you're like, stay in your lane, make sure, you don't do anything out of your lane. So with that mentality, I've taken it out here too. So I need to change that mindset. Yeah.
And we still want to take that mentality, but we also want to incorporate the behavior change elements in there. So
exactly. And learn to work around it. Like you said, rather than having myself making the meal plans, having the clients themselves make that meal plan and then going through it with them, because they're the ones that know like what they like to eat and what their taste buds are like too.
The biggest thing you can do as a practitioner when it comes to nutrition is helping them. And this comes from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, which is my whole alma mater, my background. And this is one of the coolest things that I think I learned. It's like helping somebody figure out how to replace something they like that still gives them the same satisfaction, but doesn't kill them. Mm-hmm. Right. And so let's say you're working with a Texan, sorry, Lonnie, who's a big beef eater, right? And is eating, basically chuck wagon bacon burgers every meal, right? And that's their life. That's what they grew up with. And it's funny because we have some people here in Charleston who actually have a mass production cattle ranch in Texas, and their son, who came to us as a customer at our old business a long time ago at 12 years old was 7'1" and 350 pounds.
Hmm.
Talk about growth hormone in the meat. So when you have somebody like that and they're like, I just can't stop eating burgers. Well, you're going to take baby steps. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to introduce them into something like an Impossible Burger or a Beyond Burger. Is it the perfect thing that they should be eating? No, but is it better than what they're eating now? Yes. And then you help them evolve over time and they will love you for that. Because one thing I can tell you is if you go in there and you're working with people, what they're eating, and you say, okay, put down the candy bar, here's a plate of Brussels sprouts, they're going to run away very fast.
Yes. I've seen that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really learning how to do that. And that's one of the things that we work with our clients on in the background. It's like, how do you design the program and how do you incorporate things in it to where they're actually enjoying the product? It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for them. This is why they're paying you $5,000, right? This is why they need your support. They're looking for that guidance. But if you can do it to where they're having small victories each and every step along the way, and they realize every day, this is amazing and I'm feeling better, that's when you have big wins. And that's when your referral rate goes out the roof. And pretty soon you don't even have to worry about paid ads because you've got referrals coming in.
That sounds fantastic.
That is fantastic. It is fantastic. It is fantastic. Yeah. So I will say this again. This is what we do full time with people. If that's something you guys need help with, hit that link I put in the box. Be happy to chat with you. We're absolutely horrible people to talk to, as you can tell. Elia.
Adam, I'd like to move to Manisha's ad and then to Marissa. She has a question that I'd like to get to as well.
Manisha.
I
Manisha.
think I have it up now. Okay.
Okay.
Let me try this again. Sorry.
All right. So we're going back to Manisha's group ad. There's her group ad. Okay, cool. All right. So scroll down just a little bit. I'm sorry. Scroll up a little bit. My bad. I'm thinking of the push and pull. Ad preview. There should be a way to see the entire ad. Click on the three dots on your ad.
Oh, that's just a preview, so it doesn't actually have a button.
Okay. All right. So where is the headline?
The headline, I think, is this one here, helping you prevent and or escape your abnormal heart rhythm.
Okay. So you put that as a description and then cardiac nurse coach is the headline. All right.
Oh, yes.
Helping you prevent and or escape your abnormal heart rhythm naturally. Okay. Here's what I love about this. Abnormal heart rhythm, right? So we're very precise. We're very micro niche. That's exactly what we want to do. That is the making of a great health and wellness ad. Where we could be more powerful is instead of saying cardiac nurse coach, your page, I would make it your name. Because people are going to connect with people. They're going to connect with Manisha. They're not going to connect with cardiac nurse coach. Headline. I would go in and I would change the headline. So if this is for a group, I would let them know something like, here's where abnormal heart rhythm people go to get back in sync.
Okay.
Or to stabilize their heart rate.
Now, the intention of this ad particularly, it wasn't for my group. It was for, remember I kind of said I created a page, even though I had been nurturing my profile for like months now. And I have pretty good following there. But now I just created the page because, I don't know, I thought that was a better way to grow a business, right? So I don't know about that. So then this is the first one I ran since opening it 2 days ago, basically, just to see what would happen. Okay. And that's why it says cardiac nurse coach on there. Okay, great.
I would definitely click on or take me to the link, visit page.
The link of my page?
Yeah, the link that if I click on your ad, where does it take me?
Oh, it'll go to, I think, my page. And then I'm trying to get people, again, you can't click a Facebook group link, which is totally against what I wanted. Oops.
But you can build a landing page and there's a loophole in that. Another loophole in that is you can run a direct, what they call a lead form ad, to where people literally fill out their name and address and phone number inside of Facebook on a lead form, and then it takes them to your group page. So there are a couple ways to do that. Here's what I would do is I would probably turn that off, Manisha, because I think you're just going to you're going to become Mark Zuckerberg's personal ATM.
Okay.
Basically.
I stopped sharing because it's just too slow. I don't know what's wrong with it.
Yeah, that's okay. It's partially Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah, when Zoom runs, it's kind of like a resource hog on computers, and it's really hard to load stuff.
But yeah, I could stop that one. I don't really know what I'm getting out of it. So.
Yeah, I would stop it, because what ends up happening is if you run traffic, it's just going to send people to your page.
Yep.
And some of them might actually follow your page. But I don't know if you guys know this, but anything you post on a business page, people don't see unless you pay money to boost it.
No, and that's why now I remember, that's why my coach that I hired told me not to do that.
Yeah. So we don't want to do that. Instead, you want to have if you're going to do Facebook, you want people into a private / closed group, right? That you have to approve them to get into where they can get notifications anytime you post stuff. And then inside the group, you want to make sure you have a very methodical, structured strategy of the type of content you're going to be posting. You want to have a mix of value, which means there's no call to action. Indirect, meaning that you're using education-based marketing to shift their mindset that does have a call to action at the end, but it's not apparent that there is a call to action. And then direct, meaning, hey, I'm looking for 5 people right now who want to fix their heart. Here's what I'm looking for: A, B, C, D, and E. And you want to rotate those about every 5 days. So in a 2-week period, you have value post, you have indirect post, and then you have a direct offer. The mistake that we see people make is they get into content mode and giving so much value, they forget to ask for the sale.
Absolutely. That's where I'm at. But I also am one of those that doesn't want to do it. So even my first client that I got, it wasn't me posting anything. It was her reaching out via private message. Do you do private coaching?
Okay. And let me ask this. It's like, and what is it you don't want to do?
The marketing thing,
ask for the sale.
Yeah, I'm still trying to grow as a person and learn and all that stuff, research before I actually market this.
Why?
I don't know.
It's called fear, right? It's called getting ready to get ready. I mean, Again, same thing I did with Malay. Like if I put somebody with an abnormal heart rhythm on your step right now, would you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't done my research yet. I've got to build my Facebook page. I got to get like 500 to 1,000 followers. I've got this Facebook group out, but I don't have enough evidence." Would you do that?
No, I would never.
No, of course you wouldn't. You would say, "Come on in, let me help you get your heart rhythm under control so you can get back to life and start enjoying things."
Yeah. And the one I do have is doing excellent. And she's more than willing to give me a great testimonial at the end of this too. And she does give me confidence too. I'm so lucky to have had her, actually.
Yeah. So this is what we see all the time. And Ellie, you can speak to it, especially in your regulated practitioner world. You guys are trained to do some really miraculous things. But the minute that you got to go and ask for money, you're like a deer in headlights.
Yep.
Right. So what we want to do is we want to set up the process, Manisha, to where people are literally, and again, I know we're dealing with human beings and moms and dads and brothers and sisters, and we want to treat them like that, but we do have to use marketing terms just so people understand. We want them to sell themselves. So you don't have to sell. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
By making sure that you take them on a marketing journey. And so the difference between what we do and what a lot of people do is most people treat marketing as something that you do to people. We want to make sure that this is a journey. And the journey starts with the first time that they hear about you, which is either like a paid ad. Somebody's never heard of Manisha before. They see the ads like, "Oh, wow, she works with abnormal heart rhythms." Click, right? Then what happens? We want to make sure that every step of the journey, so think of this as like a hiking trail in a national park. Like if you've ever been to Yellowstone, if you get off the path, you could die, right? Because there's like acid pools and stuff like that. So you want to make sure you follow the signpost and you don't get off the path. Same thing. We want to make sure that every piece of content, everything that we say gets the person to want to consume the next piece of content, the next message. Follow the signpost to the marketing destination. That marketing destination is hiring you. Does that make sense? So we want to make sure we really create that process, that it's structured. So we go from point A to point B. It's systematized. We automate as much of it as possible. Even though we've got AI and all this cool stuff out there, there's always so much we can automate. We all want to have a business that runs without us, I know, but it doesn't work that way yet. And so we want to make sure that we have that down. Is this making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then get over the fear of imposter syndrome, right? Because that's what's underneath it. And Ellie, what's the definition of imposter syndrome?
Well, really, it's just when you need more data, is what I like to say.
Well, you're worried. You're
Yes.
worried that your patients or your clients are not going to get the results that you want them to get. And if you're dealing with that, that usually means you're a good person because you actually care about the person. So you can smile for that. But don't let that stop you.
Yeah.
Don't let that stop you.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about, I want to talk a little bit about funnels, but I also want to pull in Marissa a little bit because she wants to reach out to existing wellness centers to expand their services and add the trilogy of wellness services, grounding, oxygen, and sunshine using the latest technology. So
okay.
This sounds like, and Marissa, if you have Mike, this sounds like, are you trying to be a resource in other people's companies, or are you trying to sell like well, it sounds like a service to them that they can package and resell?
Both of them. I want to be a resource, and at the same time, I'm selling. I actually want to put up a have those trilogy of wellness services available to as many people, but I understand that there are already established centers that have their own services. So I just like to add this services, the grounding, the sunlight, and the oxygen.
Okay. So would this basically be a way, this is a business offer. So you're going to help businesses make more income?
Yes.
By having your product. And have you had any businesses include this yet? Do you have a track record?
I'm just starting it now, but there have been other in other places. They have already established this kind of wellness service, which I would like to bring to where I am.
Into your local area?
Yes.
Okay. So Adam, maybe we can kind of group this into some of the marketing strategies that we work with our clients on when it comes to whether it's attracting in businesses or whether it's attracting in clients. You know, I'm also curious how many people here have a funnel or want to have a funnel for their business?
Well, nobody wants to have a funnel.
Well, knows they need one.
Yeah, we need that.
Yeah. Want to have a funnel. Yeah.
So if we're doing B2B, right? This is a business to business offer. Is that right, Marissa?
Yes.
Okay. This is what's actually awesome about business to business is that because all businesses rely on capitalism and all capitalism is all about revenue and profit at the end of the day, if you can show a business that they can actually increase their sales or decrease their losses, meaning become more profitable, like their sales stay the same, but because their employees are operating in more productive ways, that it's actually going to increase their profit margin because they're not being sick and their productivity is not slow anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in a business to business way, it's really great because we can download a list of people exactly in your market space. And with a business to business offer, you can either do cold outreach or you can do paid advertising. The difference between that is cold outreach means you have a list and you create together an email strategy and you literally just send off cold emails. And that's how you can get clients coming in. So is the question how to set this up and how to get clients, or what's the meat of the question?
How to reach out to them.
Okay.
I think the previous Zoom meetings that you had, you made it very clear that a message has to be there. There's got to be that message that you need to send out clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they'll know what it is you're offering.
Yes. So that's the offer. That's the offer. I could tell you right now, this is why we always start with the structure of the offer, that your offer has got to be dialed in. The niche can be just a disease or dysfunction, right? Or just a problem. But the offer, the way that you structure that niche is so important because you can have the best copyright in the world. You got the best marketing strategy in the world. You got the best sales team in the world, the best sales conversion profits. But if the offer isn't attractive enough, no one's going to bite. So we want to make sure first and foremost that we're conveying your offer in like less than 10 to 12, 15 words. It's kind of like that whole I help people blank statement. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sort of. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, when it comes to this, the messaging is going to be very important. And this is where Marissa, we need to figure out, it's like, okay, well, there's a lot of businesses out there. Like, what kind of businesses do you want to work with? Are we talking about, do you want to work with real estate agents? Do you want to work with plumbers? Do you want to work with attorneys? Do you want to work with regulated health practitioners like physician assistants, medical doctors, registered nurses, that kind of thing? Like, who's really going to be your market? And then we want to micro niche down. And then we would say, okay, out of that big segment up there, the industry, what portion of that industry can I really speak to where my message is going to resonate with them at a subconscious level? So I'm literally talking like they think. And they go, oh, she understands my problem. Because when you can explain a problem better than they can, people automatically want to work with you because they perceive you as an expert, even if they've never heard of you before. And this is how, and I don't know if you guys saw in our Facebook group, I did an interview yesterday, actually, at 10 a.m. with Ravinder Sahota. He's originally from India, but now lives in London, UK, and he's an acupuncturist. And for years, he was doing all this pro bono work, free clinics, free camps. He was pulling in like maybe $7,000 a year, about 6,000 pounds. That was it. And it was all because his messaging was off. He was trying to sell acupuncture instead of selling the benefit of what the acupuncture gives people. So we helped him create a back pain offer. We priced it at 3,000 pounds, which is roughly $3,700 US. And we just got off another client session right before this one. And what did he have, LA? He had his second or third $8,000 sales day. He's doing more in one day than he did an entire last year.
Yep.
All because his messaging is on. So Marissa, let me know if this is helping and if I can dive into anything else deeper.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I see when, business owners are struggling is like, it's, especially in the beginning stages, it's not having enough direction, right? And really trying to figure out what is that path, that step-by-step strategy. And that's something that Adam and I have worked with clients over the years, over and over and over again, of what is that strategy? What's the blueprint? Like, somebody just tell me what to do. Give me some feedback. Let me know if I'm on the right track, right? And I think that that's really, really important in the beginning stages, because the beginning stages of growing a business are difficult. It's a marathon. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of output. It's like you're trying to get this big, heavy boulder rolling. Once you get it rolling and you've got some momentum going, it's definitely a lot easier. But in the beginning stages, you need to make sure that you are getting the support and feedback that you need in order to really, again, like I said, get past this beginner's hump. One thing that I saw, and I think, Ben, you're here today, I saw you had a question about, feeling uncomfortable asking people for their emails. So you haven't developed a list, and, hoping that that's going to change. And so really being able to bridge the gap between, if you want to be a business owner, and I know for each and every one of you, there's a very clear reason why you want to embark on a business journey or why you want to grow your business, then it's being able to get out of your own way at times when it's like, okay, I feel uncomfortable asking for people's emails, right? It's like step one, we got to definitely overcome that obstacle, that hurdle, and get that moving forward. So you have a way to communicate with people.
Yeah.
Right. So you have a way to let people know where they can get help and where they can reach you. Another thing too, that I'll say is that, being on social media platforms is also almost like another version of an email list, right? It's just another way to kind of collect people who are around you, who are interested in what you're doing. And so really being able to be very clear that, yes, I want to have a business and I want it because of XYZ, then that will be the motivation and the fuel for you to learn some of these sales skills, to learn some of the messaging skills, to learn some of the marketing strategies to get out there and really, have your business. Because if you want to just only help people and you don't want to have to do any of the marketing stuff, then it's better to go work for someone else. But if you want to have kind of this ability, this autonomy to have your own business, then it's something that has to be a part of your tool set. And the cool thing is it will only make you stronger as a health practitioner. It really will. It might not seem like it because you're not talking health strategies, but you're talking about ways to become more resilient, which only gets passed on to your clients.
I think the important thing here, Ellie, to stack on what she's just saying is that as a business owner, you need to understand how to market your business. That does not mean you have to do it all. You can delegate this, but here's a mistake we see people make is they go and they try and delegate it by hiring a business coach or by hiring an ad agency without fully understanding how to market the business themselves. And so either they get general advice that's used for any industry and it's not customized to them, or the ad agency's like, yeah, we'll build you ads, we'll build you a funnel. And we'll get into what a funnel is here in just a second, because I see the chat box blowing up. It's like, what's a funnel? I need a funnel. What about funnel? But you really want to understand how to market your business. This is why the approach that we take is structure of the offer and the fulfillment and the price. We have to start there. Getting your messaging down, getting your marketing strategy down. Then that fourth part is the sales conversion, getting more of the prospects to actually hand you money in a high integrity, ethical way, of course, right? We want to change someone's life, because if we're not doing that, none of this stuff matters. And so again, I'm going to put a link in the chat box. It takes you to the video that explains the strategy. So feel free to watch that. And something else I'll put out there too, guys. We are reigniting our trial. We have a 2-week trial that we do with people. And if that's something that you're interested in, just to kind of check out to see if maybe we might be able to help you do these things that we're talking about, go on over there, hit the button, fill out the thing. You'll get on Lonnie's calendar. You can talk to him. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Yep. So let's talk about, or go ahead, Ellie.
Oh, I was going to say, so we'll stay on just a little bit longer because I definitely know Adam wants to address the funnels, but also for those of you who want to, join in again or have more questions, as Adam said, you can click that link there, or feel free to send Lonnie or I questions in the chat box if you're like, I got one, specific question I just want to ask you guys. Yeah. So, but we'll wrap things up with the funnel conversation.
Well, funnel, then I want to get to Jacqueline's question on to market effectively and stand out from my competition, because this is also a very powerful one.
Yep.
All right. So Malay, what is a funnel? Is Malay still here?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, she got off my screen. A funnel basically is the strategy from taking people, someone who's never heard of you before, to becoming a paying customer. So it starts with some type of outbound communication. This could be organic. It could be a post. It could be an email. It could be a paid ad. So think of an ad. We'll go old school. You're flipping through a magazine. You see an ad. The ad speaks to you. You go to the website. You follow through. There's something in there that they're offering. You get their email. You give them your email. Remember, asking people for email, it's totally cool because they're not going to give it to you unless they want what you have, right? It's an exchange of contact information. So asking for people's emails, if you do it the right way, it's actually pretty cool because it's a fair trade because you have something that they want. And that's how we want to position it as. And that funnel is basically the journey. So what happens when they see the ad? Well, they click on it, then they go to a landing page. Okay, do they opt in? Is it gated? Meaning, is there opt in? What do we ask them for? First name, last name, email, phone, or do we just ask for email? I would say go for first name, last name, email, phone, because if you just get email, you're going to get tons of opt-ins, but your conversions are going to be crap, right? And then what happens after they opt in? Well, then you give them some piece of content that is either a direct offer saying, hey, if you've got a migraine headache and you'd like the migraine to go away, I might be able to help with this unique process I have, which is how you stand out from the competition, which we're going to get to Jacqueline's question next, which is what we call a unique mechanism. And then they either schedule a time to chat with you, or they take it to the next step if you have a gateway offer, meaning it's a low ticket item. And there's a couple of different ways to do that. So Malay, does that help understand what a marketing funnel is? It's the process of getting people who don't know you to pay you.
Yes, thank you for that.
Okay. Yeah. Then as far as Ben was asking, and love the working on the wrist there with the weights in the background.
Yeah.
How to create a funnel. There are a lot of ways to do it. The easiest way is you get a piece of software like Kartra or ClickFunnels or Go High Level. And basically it's an all-in-one system. But just so you know, just because it's an all-in-one system doesn't mean it's the perfect system. They have a lot of there's pros and cons to each of these things. And the way you're going to do is you're going to want to outline. You're going to open up a Google Doc or a Microsoft Word doc and start with, okay, here's my ad. What's going to be in the ad? Well, I'm going to have a headline. I'm going to have copy. I'm going to have a call to action. And I'm going to have a link. Where's that going to take them to? Well, it's going to take them to a page. Where's that page going to reside? And this is where we decide what software we're going to use. If you've got a WordPress website, it could be a page on your WordPress website. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're using ConvertKit or ActiveCampaign or Lead Pages. We just need to have them a place to go to. Then we need to make sure that we've got some type of technology in the background that when they do opt in, we collect their information so that we can remarket to them. What's really important here is people are usually very bad with follow-up, meaning they'll collect somebody's information, but they don't have any type of follow-up campaigns, or they don't send that information to Google so they can remarket to them and really get a great return on their advertising spend. Most people go for like this crazy new acquisition strategy using one ad, and you can actually make a lot more money and serve a lot more people and impact the planet's health a lot faster and a lot stronger if you actually remarket to people and do follow-ups there. And then once they come into the funnel, what's the call to action? Is it going to be, it's going to be either to have a call with you to see if they're a candidate for your process, to see if they qualify, or it's going to be to purchase a low ticket item, which is a gateway offer, just like a gateway drug. Get them in, give them something of really cool value that you could charge something for, then lead them into the next thing. Does that help guys understand what funnels are and how to build them? Obviously, there's a ton of like automations and sequences and stuff that goes underneath all that. There's a ton. You can go down the rabbit hole of days with automations. You can say, okay, if Ben comes in and looks at my stuff for only 30 seconds, send him this email, then send him over here. But if he comes in for 35 seconds, then I want you to do this. Like you can go nuts. And that's advanced stuff. We don't really need to go with that. The basic funnel is going to be announcing that if you have a problem, I might be able to help you, explaining how you help people and how you're different, and then getting them into a sale. 3 steps: ad, video, conversation, or conversion. Sometimes that conversion is a phone call. Sometimes it's going to be a button. Is this making sense, everybody? If it does, nod your head yes. If it doesn't, shake your head no. Yes. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So with that in mind, let's dive into Jacqueline. Is Jacqueline still here? All right, Jacqueline, if you have audio and you can get and speak, I would love to hear more about kind of like what market you're in. What's the core focus of your health and wellness business? And if you don't have audio, put it into the chat box so we can at least speak to this somewhat smartly and intelligently. But basically, to stand out from your competition, I'm going to use weight loss as an example, only because weight loss is the largest niche inside the health and wellness industry. It is the most cutthroat, is the biggest, because everybody under the sun has got a way to lose weight. You guys just know all the time. There's diet books, there's YouTube videos, there's exercise programs, there's supplements, there's sleep patterns, there's devices, you know, with crazy now, the stuff in the 50s that used to shake it off, they're coming back now, you know, then there's electrical devices and all this kind of stuff. So how do you differentiate yourself in a saturated market? You use what we call a unique mechanism. So in the world of marketing and messaging, we have a unique selling proposition and we have a unique mechanism. The difference is a unique selling proposition. Most of us do not have a unique selling proposition. Your selling proposition is I can help you lose 20 pounds. I can help you lose, I can help you lose 20 pounds in 90 days. All right, cool. And you can have your market in there and all that kind of stuff. You're not the only person making that offer. What's going to make you unique is the process that you've created to get that person the result. And you guys will see this all the time. Unique mechanisms. If you like take the automotive industry, right? Cars, you got Ford, you got Chrysler, you got Ram, you got Dodge, not around anymore, but the old Dodge, you got all these brands, and every car these days has got traction control. They all have traction control. But if you go to Ford's website, they call it something different. They call it unique, and their traction control is different. If you go to Toyota, it's a different traction control system, right? It operates a little bit differently because of the software behind it and how the wheels actually spin and brake and accelerate and all that kind of stuff to keep you from spinning out of control and crashing when you lose grip. So if I am, and I apologize if you've heard me say this before, but I'm going to use my Elon Musk example because I think it's a great one. If I'm Elon Musk and I actually have an airplane, a rocket that can take people to Mars, and I'm the first one that does it, All I have to say is I can take you to Mars. I have a unique selling proposition. People will buy tickets and get on that plane. Until Jeff Bezos gets his airline up and running. Now we've got two people who do the same thing. They both take people to Mars. So they have a unique selling proposition anymore. No. What we now have is you've got to create a unique mechanism. And Jeff goes, well, my planes are better than Elon's because one, they're environmentally friendly. They don't use as much fuel. So you can be peace of mind that you're not destroying the planet as much. Also, our seats use this 3D memory foam that, man, they don't make you feel like you're sitting in a crater. They actually comfort your back and you actually, your joints aren't stiff. We call this the stiffless experience. I just made that up totally in my mind. I don't know if that's a good name or not, but that's a unique mechanism. We have stiffless seats. Like what? I mean, I'm going to ride in a plane and when I get up, my knees aren't going to hurt and I'm not going to be all stiff. Wow. Because we've got PEMF in our devices. We actually have pulsed electromagnetic frequencies that are actually to get your blood flowing as you're going to Mars. Do you see what I'm doing there? So unique mechanisms, Jacqueline, are what's going to make you stand out from the competition. And she says, I own Revive Senior Care Advisors, business offering care management services, in-home safety assessments and placement services in our aging population. I'm a new startup. Yeah. So what we'd want to do is really figure out, okay, so if I were to hire you, Jacqueline, what are the big benefits that I get from hiring your company? If I help you, if I hire you, what big problem are you fixing? So that's what we want to start with. Because we all have businesses because we're fixing a problem. Every business does the same thing. We make someone's life easier. Or we bring a little bit of peace to it, or bring a little bit of joy, or bring a little bit of happiness, or a little bit of entertainment. But in the end, we're all fixing a problem and we're making someone's life easier. So what's your process? What's so special about your senior care advisors and your care management services that we can put a name around that is not sexy sounding, that is kind of clinical and scientific, that makes you stand out from the competition, that you are different and that you can get people to the solution of their problem in the fastest way possible with the strongest results possible in the shortest period of time? Jacqueline, or anybody's got their camera on, is this making sense, like Amani and Ben and Alicia? Yes, okay, cool. Okay, cool. So unique mechanisms. And so that's another thing that we really work with our clients on when it comes to messaging. So again, we got the structure of the offer, how we're going to deliver the results, the whole fulfillment, the program design and delivery, and the price. Then we go into the messaging. And this is where it's really more about positioning. And that is using very, very strong, simple language that makes people go, this person is different. Because if we say something and people go, oh, yeah, I've heard that before, they're going to either check out or they're going to Google slap you, meaning they're literally going to open up Google and they're going to do a search and see if they can find out on their own. So if I go out there and I tell people I do care management services, first of all, there's a lot of people that do that. It doesn't make you unique. So we're going to want to kind of give that some spice and some actual meat to it to really make you sound different. All right, so Manisha's like, yes, okay, cool. People are understanding it. So hopefully, Jacqueline, this is helping. Put a yes in the box if it is helping, put a no in the box if it's not, and I can dive into it some more, for sure. And then before we take off for today, we've got Alicia here and Amani here. And do you, either one of you have a specific question? No, Alicia, no. Amani, no, you guys are just checking it out and stuff like that. All right, cool. Well, I'm going to put the link in the box one more time. It's movethinksmile.com/apply. We are doing a very, something we don't normally do when we're working with people, and we're offering a 2-week trial right now. If it's something that you guys would like some help, either with the structure of your offer, the pricing, if you'd like help with the messaging and actually writing the copy, if you'd like help designing and actually having your marketing funnel built for you, or you need help actually converting more prospects into paying customers, come over to movethinksmile.com/apply and just fill out the application. You have a free consultation, and we'll kind of like talk about what we call our impact-driven marketing and sales systems. So remember, Move Think Smile is 100% about impact, and that is changing someone's life and making this planet a healthier place, tipping the scales from sickness to wellness. If we're not doing that, none of the stuff matters. And if you've got the expertise to do that, and whether or not you're like Malay, who is kind of worried about this stuff, where you're like Manisha with imposter syndrome. If you've got the expertise, like we literally put somebody on your step and you didn't have to worry about marketing and sales again, could you help that person? If the answer is yes, we might be able to help put more people on your step. we might just be able to help you put more people on your doorstep so that can happen. Okay. Yeah, Manisha, thank you so much. Great insight. Yeah, you're welcome. Absolutely. And Jacqueline, decrease rehospitalization, increase compliance rates, taking the stress away from the caregiver and the mitigating risk. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So basically what I see there is as a possible, when I hear caregiver, I think of people like me with aging parents, right? And right now we're doing everything we can to keep my dad out of the hospital. Let's see here. Amani spoken with Ellie already. Cool. My next episode obtaining. God, cool. Waiting to hear back. Right on, Amani, for sure, for sure. So Jacqueline, so yeah, so I'm thinking that I would probably be in your market, and that is I don't live near my father. That, he's 3 hours away in Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is south of Charlotte. We're in Charleston, South Carolina. And so one of my brothers lives in Seattle, Washington. The other one is another 3 hours away. So it's really hard for us to get there. So a service like that, which he's not quite there yet because my stepmother she's still got it together. She's still helping out, but pretty soon she's not gonna be able to do that. And what we do want to avoid is having them go back in. And we're trying to make their life as easy as possible and less stress on the 3 siblings, myself and my 2 brothers. And so I think that's what you do. And so with that kind of thing, the target market probably wouldn't be the actual senior person that you're caring for, but it would be the caregiver themselves. And developing a marketing campaign, and you could have 2 markets and 2 campaigns, but I would think you'd probably go after the caregiver first because they're really the decision maker and the influencer on the senior. But you could also target the senior too and do a pull strategy. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, cool. Yeah, so guys, come on over to movethinksmile.com/apply if you'd like to chat about, see if we can help you talk about our 2-week trial. It's super cool. And with that note, is there anything else that we can support you with today? Are there any other questions, Elia, that you saw in the chat box, or Shannon, or Mark, or let's see, Sean, that's here.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think we got to everyone. We'll be, we're in the Facebook group that you guys are all a part of as well. So if you have other questions, again, you've seen our faces. Adam, Elia, Lonnie is here. So yeah, we're here to help. We're here to help.
Yeah. And if you're not in the group, let us know. And what we'll do here with this is probably later this afternoon, once Zoom does its whole thing and we get all the notes compiled, we will have a transcript. I will compile a very detailed notes document, not just a transcript where you have to read the entire thing, but actual sections. I'll send you guys a Google document with all that information in there, so you'll have reference to it. I'll also have reference links to all the links and things that we talked about, including group funnels. I don't know if you guys saw this too. We also have a really cool link, movethinksmile.com impact. And if you haven't seen this yet, I would highly suggest going and taking a look at it. It's a 13-minute video, and it really kind of is an executive summary of what we do, but it really focusing on a better prospect. And that is the impact seeker versus the magic pill seeker. And this is, we want to make sure that you guys are attracting impact seekers. And these are the people who are serious about investing in their health or their parents' health, in the case of Jacqueline, right? They're not the people looking for insurance to pay for everything. They're not the people looking to spend a few $100s. They're not the people who come and work with you, then go MIA after a couple sessions. Impact seeker. So go out, check out that video, movethinksmile.com/impact. It's short. We try to make it as entertaining as possible. We're talking about marketing sales. So I hope you guys enjoy it too. Let me know if it sucks. Feel free to tell me. I can take it. Put a lot of time into it, but I'll go back and make it better. And on that, after we get you guys the notes, then of course we will have the replay together. The replay takes a little bit of time to put together. Actually, it takes longer than the notes, believe it or not, because we go in and we put chapters into it, and we'll have that over to you guys as well. So make sure you're checking your emails, and we'll be following up with everybody. And before we take off for today, I want to do my final. If you have a question, put a 1 in the box, because now is the time to get answered. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. I'm not seeing anything. All right, guys. My name is Adam Von Enns, and together with Elia Frasheron, we created Move, Think, Smile. We've been around since 2011, serving the health and wellness space, and we've been responsible for helping people just like you add an additional $5 million to the bottom line collectively. So that's no small feat to be done with. We're pretty good at what we do. So come over to movethinksmile.com/impact or movethinksmile.com/apply, and let's talk soon. Take care, everybody. I'll get those notes and video to you as soon as possible.